Alright, here we go. Nope, 0 death. Alright, here we go, bruh. We're gonna do it. No deaths.
No deaf people. They're not allowed.
I'm gonna freaking go to my YouTube and see if I can make it so that the stream stays up after I'm done.
Oi, Dave.
Because I want to make it so that... Ooh, shut up, bro. Your voice sounds like shit.
What?
It just has my specs as the description. How do I make this? Record... No, it's not made for kids. If you're a kid, hope you die.
I hate children. I'm gonna beat them up.
How do I... I just wanted to stay on my channel when I'm done streaming. Why is that not just an option here? Settings, channel, not made for kids, oh, this, I need to get rid of this shit. Nope. I don't really know how to make it stay on my channel. I'll figure that out later. Here we go. Not gonna die. Not even gonna die once. I'm actually gonna die -1 times.
Oh, -1 times, huh? Okay.
I'm sure that's possible if you plug it into some kind of equation.
Oh god. No, I don't even want to think about it.
Wonder if anyone's ever died in the prologue.
Yeah.
I would like actually enjoy watching someone play that was so bad at platformers they died in the prologue. Not to make fun of them, just because it made me feel good about myself.
Hey, look at me, I'm good at platformers. Yay.
I'm about to do some safe ass strats. I ain't speedrunning this shit.
Wow. Death Quando.
I would love to learn Death Quando, bro. That'd be so cool.
Sensei, I think someone just Death Quan clogged the toilet. No!
I love regular show grunts and screams like that. Fucking muscle man.
Really? Zach just said. What the heck?
Oh, I fucked it up.
You're in Obama mode.
Alright, 3 minutes and 34 seconds. That's slow as hell. But I didn't die. Oh crap, I just realized there's no music. I'm gonna turn that back on.
Music does not exist.
I'm probably just gonna die in old site again, like I did last time. No, not old site, Celestial Resort. I suck at Celestial Resort. That could have been a death. That was not smart.
Oh, whee! If I ever have a son, his name's definitely gonna be Trash Boat.
You're gonna be put in prison for that.
Good. It'll be worth it. Trash Boat.
I almost just died there. That would have been very much not good.
That would not have been very good. No, what we did.
Oh my.
We
No.
made up some bro moment.
That was a very, very broad moment right there.
This is a top 10 bro moments of the 28th century.
It's pretty easy not to die on the first two chapters, but chapter 3, chapter 3 kind of fucky.
So is your mom. What the?
There we go. First two chapters completed with 0 deaths.
Whoa, what the?
Alright. Now here's the hard part.
Man, I like looking up in my my Twitter profile there, just seeing all those masterpieces. Just 3 of them in a row. Man, some good content. Put this picture of Mordecai in my my wallpaper photo gallery, because this is 100% a 1080p photo. This is definitely a 16:9 image for sure. Wow, 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 wow.
Wah, 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 wah. Wah, wah, wah. Almost just died.
See, I could say the same thing about my wife, but it wasn't an almost.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
It was definitely 100% happened.
There we go. Barack Obama has black testicles.
How did you know?
I mean, I don't actually know. What if he didn't, dude? What if they were white?
What if they were green?
What if they were like purple or something? That's where I died on the last one. I died right there. I didn't do this time though. I'm good this time.
Die like one screen over? Dang it.
I don't even know how I would manage to die on this screen. So I just clicked the die button.
Oh no, I clicked the die button. Dang it.
There is technically a die button. You click retry and you die. Alright, going down.
That's good. Man, I can't wait to click the die button in real life. Yeah, click it on my wife.
Okay, here's the part where I'm gonna...
The easiest screen in the game.
Alright. Okay, we're good so far. Oh god, don't fucking rocket off the edge, Jesus Christ.
It's like fly off into the abyss and die instantly.
I ain't fucking with any strawberries unless they're just like right there, because I'm gonna be trying to get a strawberry and I'm gonna die.
Gonna die.
So far, this is the farthest I've made it with 0 deaths. I definitely will not
0 death, people.
I will never beat the entire game without any deaths, because I'm just... no way. I just wouldn't want to do that, even if I'm capable of it, I don't want to. But... I can probably beat this chapter with no deaths. I don't know about Golden Ridge. And I died.
No. Really?
Well,
I could probably beat this chapter without any deaths. Okay. Yep.
And, well, thanks for watching, guys. That's the end of the stream. Time to delete that save file. And nice. I'm gonna do this one too.
Remember, guys. Remember to like and subscribe. Oh, nice. Was that 11,000 deaths?
No. I want to see how long it took me to beat
11,000.
Oh, okay. Full clear? Oh, I've never fully cleared it. How long? Oh. Bro, look at how much time I spent on Farewell. That's one playthrough.
Oh. God.
That's kind of sad because I did all the A, B, and C sides.
One playthrough of Farewell, 9 hours, idiot.
I had like 50 hours in the game. I did all the base content, and it still took me almost 2,000 deaths and almost 10 hours of playtime to beat Farewell. Yeah, that chapter did not work with me.
That's epic.
I think most people,
very epic.
All the Let's Plays I've seen, the people do it in like 4 hours. That sucks. Although I was on that last screen, paused for a long time because I had to leave. I had to leave my room to regain my mental health.
Like, oh god, what? Oh.
Which chapter I spent the least time on? Golden Ridge. No. Old Site, really? I guess because Old Site's so short. And I spent 14 hours. I spent more time on Forsaken City than I have on any other chapter, and it's the first level.
Bruh.
I bet that ZCAD guy has like fucking 100 hours on Forsaken City, bro. Probably got so much fucking time on this chapter. What the fuck? Why can I not do this? The world record time would have already beaten the level.
Bruh.
It beat the level like 15 seconds ago.
I saw your reply to the Astro 850 thing. That's crazy, bro. So basically, you're a worthless human for liking these, and go die in a hole, idiot. I'll kill you. Ooh.
Oh, I know what I'm gonna do. So I have A side golden, I have C side golden, but I don't have B side golden yet. So that's what I'm gonna work on.
Did that say 21 out of 20 strawberries?
Yeah, the 21st strawberry is the golden one.
No, okay, I was like, oh, wait a minute.
There's a lot of bonus content like that. Like almost every level has something like that. They really like secrets in this game. I'm not good at not dying.
This is an Ultra Nightmare run.
Kind of. Jesus Christ. I do risky strats, like, I just can't not do them. Oh, that didn't work.
Freaking Caleb be like, you guys just make fun of me for having anger issues. My mouse is better than yours. Huh? What?
Ah!
That's definitely me when my dog jumps out of the second story window.
Or what if your cat did that?
He'd be okay because he's a cat.
Yeah.
Cats can take much larger falls than second story and actually be totally fine.
Wasn't it like... I feel like I've heard that cats could fall out of an airplane and live.
No, not that. Yeah, it depends on how far up in the air the airplane is, but like...
They could fall out of an airplane that's on the runway.
I mean...
No, I remember. I heard that about like roaches and spiders and stuff. They don't weigh enough, so they could literally fall out of an airplane and not.
There's too much air resistance for them to fall hard enough.
Also, they just don't weigh enough to have enough like inertia to.
Yeah,
pull them.
they just.
Also, I think their internal organs are a little bit like.
Liquidy.
They're a little bit more like structurally sound than ours, or something. They're less sensitive to vibration, I think.
I know that it's, like, you know how, like, let's see, I think it's... I'm trying to remember this correctly. It's like how a human's resting position for their hand is, like, open.
Yeah.
For a spider, it's closed. Like, if they had hands, like, their legs, their resting position is closed.
Huh.
Like, to open their legs, they have to apply like an outward force because their muscles are like their muscles act like a hydraulic system because of their exoskeleton. Their muscles don't have bones to attach to in the same way ours do, and so their muscles are actually more like a liquid and they act like hydraulic systems. So that's why a spider curls up when it dies.
Ooh. That's cool, that makes a lot of sense.
Because their resting position is closed. So, it's like how we have to apply force to close our hands. They have to do that to, like, open up their legs. And I think it's, a similar thing with birds' feet. They don't work the same way, but the resting position for birds' feet is closed, and that's why they can sleep on like tree branches without falling off.
God damn it! I do that stream wrong, and it just makes me die every time. I wish humans were able to sleep standing up like horses. And like livestock.
I think just the fact that we freaking walk upright prevents that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, when you sleep, you're not worried about balancing. Also, your eyes are closed, and that can throw off... It will throw off your balance. So, you know, with a horse that has 4 legs, you know, all on the ground, it's not a big deal. I really like how Zach just typed spider cock.
Oh, bro, I had a dream about a spider last night, actually.
I thought you were about to... Oh, not only say spider. I don't know, he had a dream about spider cock. Oh, no.
No. No. I had a, it was a really weird dream. I was in the freaking tub taking a bath, which I never do. Because it's fucking 2020.
Dude, imagine taking a bath in 2020. Get a shower, idiot.
Baths aren't the meta in 2020. So, yeah, I was taking a bath, and I looked down.
On the shower meta.
I looked down at, like, what is supposed to be the ceramic or whatever making up the tub, and it's see-through for some reason. And underneath it, clinging to the bottom of it, is the biggest, longest, ugliest spider I've ever seen, bro. It's like the size of my hand. It has a big-ass sack on the back of it. And it's like it's like kind of a black ass sack full of probably eggs or like venom or something. And I'm like, ah! And I jump out of the bathtub, run to my room, and then under my desk, I look under my desk because I'm like paranoid, and there's one under my desk. And I just woke up. Then that's all I remember from the dream. But I hated that. The way it looked was God. And for some reason, I remember knowing it was a garden spider, but I don't think garden spiders look like that. I think it was scary as fuck. It looked like a fucking Skulltula from Ocarina of Time. Like, it was nasty. Like, if I flipped it over, I bet it would have had a face.
No, boy. Flip it over as if you're gonna touch it.
Yeah, I was like, do I try and crush it now? And then, as I try and crush it, it freaking runs away at 20 miles an hour, and then I don't know where it is, or do I just leave my room and cry? So I
just burned down my house.
So I just left. I was like, nah. Nothing gives me more anxiety than like a really fucking like gross looking bug in my room.
Yeah, it's not very fun.
Nothing like puts my mind at as much disrest or unrest as like a bug in my room does. I can't progress with my life until it's gone.
That's why spiders are the worst, because they're so elusive. It's like you go to smash that fool and he runs away because he can see you. He can see you coming.
God.
Oh no.
Oh God. Just thinking about it makes me fucking shiver. I don't... Why? Why? There's no reason to be afraid of this thing. It won't hurt me. Even if it bites me, I'll be like, fuck you, bro, and just crush it with my hand, because it's tiny and weak. Why am I scared of it?
Because it's spooky.
Ah, that's the worst survival mechanism I fucking know of, bro. It's so shit. I don't want to be terrified of a little tiny black creature that I can kill with, like, minimal effort.
Yeah, last night there was a baby spider on my wall.
Oh,
So, oh no, gotta kill it. There was one day where it wasn't like very, for lack of a better word, like thick, but it was pretty long. It was a spider. It crawled down the door frame to the attic. I could see it. I could see its legs go in. I was like, uh-oh, that's not good. And when it got on the carpet, so I put on one of my shoes and I stepped on it, and like there were no like remains on my shoe. I was like, did I really kill it?
Oh god.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did, because I stepped and I dragged my shoe across the carpet, so it probably just like got scraped off onto the carpet, and I just couldn't see it. But it made me paranoid for a little bit.
there was one like product of evolution I could get rid of like out of my own body, it wouldn't be like excessive amounts of pain to tell me to freaking stop doing what's hurting, or like hunger or thirst to tell me to drink or something. I would get rid of the fear of small creatures. My life would be so much better if I wasn't scared of them.
Yeah, like small spider. Oh no, scary.
The ones I'm terrified of aren't venomous and they won't even attack me. But I'm
Like,
terrified of
The
them.
worst spider you will see in North America where we live is the freaking, the brown recluse or like a black widow. And, like, even bad bites that don't go treated, like, you'll most likely be okay.
I'm not scared of snakes for some reason. I mean, like, if a snake is like...
Snakes aren't creepy to me.
If
They're elusive, but they're not like spiders where they're tiny and elusive and venomous, possibly.
Yeah, there's people who are like scared of snakes, and I'm like, I don't really understand that. Because I mean, yeah, it might bite you and it might put some venom in you, you know, to treat it. But like, it's a little fucking cylinder that has teeth.
It's a noodle.
I can just leave or like crush it or something. But like bugs, they're the worst because they enter your fucking safe space, they enter your fucking house where you're supposed to feel like comfortable, and then they ruin that. They make you feel vulnerable in your own house. Even though you're not really, but...
Bugs are also just creepy looking. Snakes are not.
Bugs, they use psychological warfare, literally.
Yeah. Bugs are masters of psychological manipulation.
Like, I think I'd be less scared of like a fucking guy with a knife than a spider.
I mean, I couldn't say the same, but
Like if there's like if I'm in
I don't know,
public
at
and,
least a
like,
guy with a knife is not creepy looking, maybe.
I'm not gonna have the same emotional reaction to seeing a guy like with a knife stabbing people as I am to fucking a spider hiding under my fucking monitor.
Spider's like, hey, what you playing? None of your business,
What's
idiot.
up, bro? I'm not going away. I'm staying in here. I'm gonna crawl all over you while you sleep too. So you gotta kill me. Good luck doing it though. I'm fucking invisible and fast.
Shut up, you suicidal little eight-legged idiot. Get out of here.
I mean, if they were intelligent at all, they wouldn't come in fucking human houses because they know, oh, I'm just gonna get killed. But they do.
See, the worst part about spiders is like they can hide in your shoes.
They can hide everywhere, bro. They can hide like under your clothes while you're walking around and you just won't know if they're small enough.
Yeah, even for America, even like a bigger spider, like a big fat wolf spider, can hide very easily.
God, I just had the freaking shivers. I hate that shit. I hate that feeling. I only get it from like cockroaches and spiders and wasps. Nothing else. I used to get it from
Cockroaches used to be spooky to me, but they don't bother me anymore. I just see one and I'm like, whoosh, and then it's dead.
the baby variety of them, like the really small ones that we tend to have, they're not really scary, they're just annoying. I'm like, okay, gotta kill this thing. If it like runs at me, I'm not gonna freaking be terrified. But cockroaches, like the big ass ones, bro, oh my god. I will like, oof. I would like,
I'm not a fan of them, but if I see one, I'm just gonna step on it. Like, see ya, idiot, what are you doing in here? I saw one at work one time in our back room, and I went and got one of my coworkers, and I was like, bro, there's a huge roach in the back room. And we ran up in there, we were like, what's up, roach? What's up, roach? And we stepped on it.
nice.
It's like a gang war. What you doing on our territory, idiot? My roach is like, oh, I'm hungry.
Why don't you go tell
Well,
the
you're
rest of
dead
your
now.
roach friends don't come by here anymore, bro?
Or else they're gonna get the same treatment as you, buddy. Yeah, that's death.
Just fucking shoot a bunch of bullets into his car and leave it on the side of the road for his Roach gang members to find and get the message. Burn his, light it on fire too.
It's like the ice cream truck wars.
It's like the fucking Godfather, but with roaches.
Find him at like a stop and like light up the car with a bunch of Thompson machine guns. Ouch. Stepping in lava is not good for you.
No way.
Yeah. Honestly, who could have guessed? Not me.
I don't even remember what the end of this looks like. I haven't seen it in a while, like forever.
Where did this fool just go?
I still do that shit wrong. I think this is the farthest I've made it so far. How close am I? Oh, I'm very close. And I died. Because I just forgot how to do that fucking screen.
Bruh.
You should play this with
Bro,
me.
moment 48. See, the thing is, platformers are already hard for me, even with a controller.
Yeah, you'd be better with a keyboard. You won't have as many issues with like the analog stick going the wrong direction.
I don't know.
I tried playing with WASD and then using IJK and L for like jumping and dashing and grabbing and everything. I didn't have the muscle memory for it, but it wasn't as like bad and unintuitive as I thought it would be. And if I actually commit to learning how to do that, I would be better off because I'd make less mistakes. But I have like actual skillful muscle memory with controller, and I have none of that with keyboard.
The only game you can call a platformer that I've actually thoroughly enjoyed in any recent memory was Hat in Time.
I wonder if you would like Mario Odyssey. You should, if the emulator ever gets working, you ever go Switch, you should definitely try it out.
Yeah. I liked Hat in Time because it wasn't painfully difficult.
Oh, then you'll love Odyssey. You can just, if you don't want to do any challenges, you can literally just play Odyssey as like a sightseeing, fun movement game.
I would like the challenge in a platformer if I was better at platformers. I'm not good at them. I'm not good at the timing. I'm not good at the precise movement. I'm good at precise movement in like combat games where you have to dodge. I'm decent at that, but when it comes to like landing on platforms, Jesus, you would think I've never played a video game before.
That's how I feel about fighting games and racing games.
I really was awful at Forza Horizon 4 when I first started playing it not that long ago, but I mean, I've quickly learned what are optimal racing lines for, like, every track, because it's the same rule every time for, you know, following a good line. And as long as you can keep your car under control, it's pretty enjoyable to drive at fast speeds and not constantly spin out. Or, you know, just take a bad turn. Like in I tend to get the hold of precise movement in games where you have like a dash ability and you use it to like dodge like other attacks. Like in Hades you have a dash, and I would say I'm pretty decent at dodging stuff with it. Same in Doom Eternal. Got really good very quickly at using the dash to avoid all the Marauder attacks. That's why I like fighting the Marauder, because it's very precise timing to dodge his attacks, and it's really satisfying when you do so.
I was really worried from everything I had heard about the Marauder, but when I actually fought him, it was fun. Like, I wasn't
Most
good at
people
it, but it was fun.
they just want Doom to be a power fantasy, and they don't want to have to think about the combat. They just want to shoot stuff and not be challenged.
Power fantasies are better when you're powerful because of your own ability, not the stats, not the numbers inflating.
Yeah. I like the Marauder. He's fun. He's fast, and he punishes you if you make a mistake. And once you're really good at fighting him, it's a fast duel. It's fun.
So that's where the analog stick killed me. I was pressing up, but I thought I was pressing up right. Yeah, any game where like being good at it makes you feel good, it's like the freaking like having good weapons and armor or having good stats or just doing a lot of damage, that doesn't make it fun. What makes it fun is feeling like you have something over the competition.
Progressing with in-game rewards and progressing through actually getting better is like good. Also just a good system for the game's main mechanics. Like making the game feel good is, you know, mandatory. Like, I'm surprised I like Hades as much as I do, because, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of the anime art style, but the gameplay is really fun.
Progression systems are interesting to think about in games. Because I'm the type of person that usually would just prefer 100% natural progression. The player just gets good and progresses through that. But I know, like, good game design relies on a lot more than just player be good.
Yeah, there are some games where that works really well, and then there are others where, you know, they could implement a totally natural progression system, but it limits what the game can offer you.
Yeah, definitely. And it means less people will be able to have the experience you mean for them to have.
Yeah.
Like Dark Souls. Even though Dark Souls does have a lot of progression that's not completely natural, it's like RPG progression, which is something I'm usually not a fan of, but my dad is a huge fan of.
I'm not a fan of extremely complicated systems and like that RPGs usually tend to offer, especially the really popular ones. They usually have too many progression systems. It's like everything has a progression system, and none of it is very quickly earned. Not that it's necessarily a bad thing to take time to earn something, I just don't have the patience for it.
I like it when, if you're good, you can do anything you want to do without having to, like, you know, get to a specific point in the game to be allowed to do it.
That's why I like Hades so much. There's a natural progression system of just getting better at the game and utilizing your abilities better, but there's also unlockable weapons and the boons that you get to like upgrade yourself throughout a playthrough. Also, I just really like, I don't know if this is a roguelike or a roguelite. I used to know the difference, and I've even watched a video on it, but I forget.
Oh, I thought it was a roguelite, and like everyone just said roguelike because it was a misconception.
They're actually two different games. They're similar, but they're actually two different things. There's a video out there that I watched that explains the differences. I just forgot.
Celeste is like almost 100% natural progression. You have all of your moveset from the very first level, and you uncover it as you get better. And then when you're deep into it and you've done everything, you have all the moves unlocked and know how to do all of them. And
yeah,
that's really
a lot of like hidden mechanics.
Yeah, Odyssey has that too. Although to a lesser degree than Celeste, because Celeste has like crazy shit that you just wouldn't know unless you looked up a video or got really lucky experimenting. Some people play through all of Mario Odyssey and they only learn how to do a cat bounce like at the very end when the game like teaches you how to.
Huh.
Yeah, and then there's some people like me, I knew it was a thing, so I looked up how to do it, and I was like, oh, first level, time to do a hat bounce. And then by halfway through the game, I was pretty proficient at doing it. I can get anywhere I wanted to.
See, the former would be me. It's like I just don't even know it's a thing. I don't even know it's a trick.
But that would make replaying...
Games would be too limited.
That would make replaying even more valuable if you stuck to the game, because you'll do the whole thing and not have your whole moveset unlocked, and then at the end you'll figure out how to do everything. Then you go back and play through the whole game, do the levels you've already done, but do them better, and it's like a whole new level. But there's definitely a type of person that prefers that, and a type of person that prefers when the game like progresses on its own, and you're just, you know, just putting time in gets you where you want to be, instead of developing skills. Just continue with the way the game's laid out, gets you what you need. Another interesting thing along those lines in games is player choice, and like how much of an impact the player gets to make on their gameplay. Like some games are pretty linear and everyone's gonna have about the same experience, and in some games like Breath of the Wild, you're gonna like no one does the same stuff in the same order or the same stuff like at all.
Yeah.
And that's the type of games that are really exciting to me.
Yeah, that alone for Breath of the Wild is why it's in my top 10 favorite games of all time. It's like this sense of like just actual exploration that they give you in that game is absurd.
It also kind of makes me like sad about games I used to be like a super huge fan of, and then I'll like look at how they allow the player to make choices, and it's like you don't really get to make any choices. Everyone gets the same experience pretty much, but it's just super planned out for you already.
Yeah. The country.
Oh my god. That kills me way too often, that's annoying.
Oh my god.
What? I totally waited long enough.
Yo mama. I wonder how long ago, if the development team existed back then for Celeste. I wondered like what the earliest console it could have existed on was. For the Pico 8 version, it could have been on the NES, because Pico 8's lower bit rate or depth than the NES is, and it's low resolution, so that totally could have been on the NES. But like actual Celeste, I mean minus the full 1080p pixel scaling that's used for animations. If you use the actual resolution, which I'm pretty sure is 480 by something, it's one of the like the small resolutions that perfectly scales to 1080p. I used to remember it was like 482 by something. It's what this uses. What I forget what it was called.
That's what Flint Hook uses. A bunch of like indie pixel games use that resolution. So like, I bet you get this on the SNES, probably, with a lot less smooth animations. But like, I'm pretty sure the resolution would have worked. Maybe. If not the SNES, then the N64 definitely could have done it, because that could output 480p or 480i.
480i interlaced.
Yeah. Yeah, freaking most consoles. I don't think any consoles use progressive scan until the fucking PS3 and Xbox 360. Like all the Xbox, the OG Xbox and the PS2 and the GameCube all use interlaced by default, unless you had like S-Video or RGB or component cables.
Man, imagine even looking at an interlaced display. Couldn't even be me.
Hey, I bet a lot of my old TVs are interlaced and I just never knew because you know, kids don't know that stuff.
Don't know the difference.
Adults don't know that stuff either, but you know.
Yeah, much less children.
Bro, I remember the first time my dad got an HDMI cable for the PS3 and he was like, bro, look how much better it looks on HDMI. Because before that, we were playing everything on a 720p through a freaking composite cables into our TV, and he got an HDMI cable. I guess he heard about it like at work or something, and he plugged in and he was like, oh my god, look how good it looks in HDMI, bro. I think it was 1080p. It was like a big upgrade from 720 through the composite. I didn't notice a difference, but
It's like, wow, that's crazy, dude, but I'm a kid, I didn't ask.
that's crazy, bro, but I'm just trying to play Mario, so
Mario.
I'm just trying to fucking fly around the Common Observatory. Oh my god. Slaughter me like a fucking pig.
What?
I deserve it.
Huh? Man, I can't wait to play a video game at 480i. That sounds fun. Look at all these skulls. What is this, Doom?
A lot of the video standards that were set for like video game consoles were only in place because of TV and how they were trying to like save bandwidth for broadcast. Like interlaced wasn't a thing before like we needed to broadcast more resolution over like less data. And my least favorite thing that came of that was fucking 29.94 FPS instead of 30.
Yeah.
So dumb. Why?
I always wondered about and then like 60, it's like 59.9. Yeah, it's like, why?
We literally do not need to do that. Why is it still a standard? Why can you not just like get rid of standards? Like, I understand it was a thing before, but
doesn't seem to need to be anymore.
do you know how easy it would be to just remove that option from like video players and from like export settings and like movie and freaking home grade video editors? That would there's no way it'd be that hard to get rid of that.
Yeah, it wouldn't be hard at all.
I think it's just because not many people know why it's a thing. No
Yeah.
one really cares, it just works, so yeah, well, I can see it, so.
It's like how one of my old monitors was a 60 hertz, but it like when you went to look at it in the settings, it was 59.97. It's like, what? Why?
No, it isn't. Monitors cannot they cannot do that. That's something that happens in like video files only. You can't have an actual monitor be fucking 59.97 hertz. I'm pretty sure, at least. If they did that, then that's very dumb and pointless.
I know one of the monitors still in my house it's called 60 hertz, but it's 59. I think it's like 59.99 or something. It is basically 60, but not technically.
I wonder if that's like the board on the monitor communicating that to Windows, or if it's Windows like actually measuring the refresh rate and it's actually 59.97. Because if so, then that is very stupid, and the manufacturer for that monitor doesn't know what they're doing.
Should just be hung on the spot.
Because 60 Hz displays, they can still display 59.97 frame rate videos. So if they did that, then there's no point at all.
Oh no.
I remember that there was this one Bullet Berry video where he responded to a guy who said it was impossible to see 4K, which was dumb.
What?
The thing
That's one where it's obvious. Like, you can actually legitimately, like, most people can actually see the difference.
Yeah.
This is not like a difference between 144 and 240 hertz, where some people just don't notice the difference because they're not sensitive enough to it. Like, 1080p versus 4K and 1440p versus 4K, like, the majority of people can see the difference.
You have to have the eye problems to not see the difference, basically.
Yeah.
The thing I remember from that video that was really dumb is he talked about frame rates and how 24 was more cinematic and that bullcrap. And he brought up the soap opera effect, which is what happens. Well, the way he described it is it's what happens when you watch 48 FPS or 60 FPS video footage, which is not correct. The soap opera effect, after I looked it up, I found out it's when you freaking interpolate footage and add fake frames in between frames. Like some TVs do it. If your TV says like 240 smooth motion, not 240 hertz, but like 240.
It's interpolated.
Motion, it interpolates all of the videos that are played off the TV, and it looks terrible. Actual high refresh rate footage looks normal.
It's like it has motion blur or something.
It looks, I don't know why it's called the soap opera effect. There's probably some reason that I've never seen a soap opera or whatever. But yeah, it's just from interpolation. And my TV in the living room has it. When you watch video or Netflix off the TV instead of off like a computer or like a Roku, it interpolates. And it looks very strange. It makes like stuff that's not smooth look smooth, and it ain't working. It do not be very much work. Interpolation is cool, like in video games though. I've seen people interpolate like video game animations and it makes them look a little better.
Yeah, like there'll be like an AI that like, you know, generates like in between frames to interpolate it.
Yeah. I'm still not sure how like first-person shooters do their animations. I think there's probably like a variety. Like some will do it where like when the gun moves, it goes frame by frame between the animation, and I'm sure some do it like with like actual movement values within the engine, so it scales for different frame rates. So it's like the gun just moves instead of playing different frames in order, and whatever your frame rate is, it'll put more information based on higher or lower values. I don't actually know how it works. That's how I imagine it is. And like if they do frames, like a series of frames for an animation instead of like vector values, then if you play it at a higher frame rate, the animation will look different. But like in Modern Warfare, if you have a 240 hertz screen playing at 240 FPS, the animation of the gun will be 240. I'm pretty sure. It'll just be really smooth.
Yeah, I've noticed there are some games where I can play them at a higher FPS, but they don't look as smooth as other games that I can play at, like, you know, similar frame rates. I guess it's just because of how they did their animations.
I would be interested to learn how that works, because I could be wrong about it. But I don't see. I feel like it would be totally possible to just do like in the 3D software of the engine, just to like say this object moves this way linearly, and then depending on the frame rate it's running at, you'll just have more or less frames making up the animation. That seems like the smart way to do it, and I bet some games also just do a 16 frame reload animation. No matter what your frame rate is, that's what you'll see, unless it's lower.
Yeah. It just, the amount of people that are like on social media that are just so blissfully ignorant to how technology works, but they claim to know a lot. Like, a huge majority of the really elitist console fanboys that will get in arguments about PS5 and Xbox Series X. They're like, yeah, the new PS5 SSD has 2 billion gigabytes of RAM. And that way it has less latency and is very fast and also makes the graphics better. It's like, obviously that's not a real thing I've seen, but it's I've seen some stuff that's comparable to what I just said in terms of stupidity.
I found a Xbox fanboys Twitter account, and there were people arguing about the freaking PS5 SSD and talking about how it could be used as RAM.
No, it's not fast enough.
Yeah, it's fast, but it's not really that fast. I mean, maybe
it's not RAM fast.
Maybe they're planning on using it like as a page file for like
yeah, I
games
mean,
that need
they
to
can.
run faster.
Technically, you can use a mechanical hard drive as RAM. It's just going to be on the page file, and it's going to not be fast. It's not going to be
90
very
gigabits
usable.
a second. It's going to be 400 megs a second, or I think the PS5 is like over 10 maybe. It's like M.2 speeds or faster.
Yeah, it's decently quick.
Still not RAM.
Which makes sense because it doesn't, it's not on a SATA cable. It's just on a board.
Yeah. Which is why it's really dumb that the PS4 and Xbox One had mechanical drives. When the fucking...
Yeah. SSDs, especially even NVMEs, have been around for a while now.
Phones have had really tiny SSDs for a long time.
And I feel like, these big companies like Sony and Microsoft, they could have put SSDs, on the Xbox One and PS4. They just didn't.
We could have had like extremely fast loading times on consoles. Probably, if not by the PS4's era, definitely by the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X era. They just didn't care to implement it yet. And now they're like, oh guys, SSDs exist, here you go. And they're like...
Yeah, welcome to 2010.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
You're 10 years late. You're a whole decade late. It makes me... It's kind of funny to see all the console fanboys freaking out over their SSDs that they technically don't even have yet.
Oh my god, bro. They're like, bro, PCs ain't got shit on... This is the first time you've had an SSD. Ever. Shut up, bro.
PCs have had SSDs on the marketplace since 2010, and I've had an SSD in my own PC for 7 years, and now I have 2.
My dad got 3.
I have 2 different types of SSDs, and I can change mine out.
And fast.
And I can change mine out, and I can upgrade mine. You can't do that with a console.
I'm not sure about the PS5. I think it has an M.2 expansion slot. I don't think any console gamers are gonna know how to use it though.
Yeah, and even if they know how to, good luck at accessing it. Holy crap! Unless it's an external port.
Yeah, it's gonna be like the PS4. It's gonna have like a little slot that you tear open the plastic housing and unscrew and put a new one in.
You've got to like break open the PS4 and deal with its proprietary board. Oh no.
It is cool that consoles finally have like good storage options, because 800 gigs of an M.2 is a lot better than 500 of a 5400 RPM drive.
Yeah, Jesus.
Like they're console players going from PS4 to PS5, the upgrade is going to be insane. It's going to be mind-blowing to them.
It just, too bad they have to buy a whole new console to experience an SSD.
Yeah, and then after there's more tech out, they're gonna have to buy another console to experience that. instead of
They can't just upgrade a single part. They've got to upgrade the whole freaking console.
I wonder how long consoles are going to be around for. At least in their current state, they might like have an evolution where their consoles are a different thing, like almost like PCs, but more streamlined to make it easier. But like,
yeah, I won't be surprised to see a future where consoles are just very, very streamlined PCs. Like they have upgrade paths, but they're all very proprietary, and they're all very easy to deal with. Like an Xbox, you can get a base model Xbox, and then you can like upgrade its graphics chip card thing, and there's like 3 options, and they all are Microsoft, and there are no third-party options.
and it's like the new freaking like Mac Pro with like those little modular boxes you put in and out.
Yeah, it's not gonna be. It's basically just gonna be a streamlined PC that has nothing but first-party options and is all proprietary. And you cannot, you know, put an Xbox graphics accelerator into a, you know, PlayStation because they'll be proprietary. Even if they work the same way, they'll have a different connector, and they'll just be different brand.
Or they'll be exactly identical in connector, like internal hardware and everything, and there'll just be like some software on the drive that prevents it from running on anything except an Xbox.
Yeah, it's already like that. Like, I've seen where dudes will try and, like, put a new hard drive in their Xbox that's not an actual Xbox one, and it just doesn't work. Because the firmware does not allow it to.
That's one thing the PS4 kind of did right. You can put an SSD in there. It won't really take advantage of it really well, but you can put an SSD in it.
The board doesn't have, the board's not good enough to actually use it.
Just no games are optimized for it because no PS4s have SSDs. Like maybe 1,000 people upgraded to one and saw no advantages.
It's like, well, this is you know, a hefty chunk of change, and it did nothing.
Yeah, if you have
cool.
if you have nice hardware but no software actually is developed for it, you still just have shit hardware.
Yeah. It's like, it's kind of similar to buying a really cheap SSD for a PC. Even one that has a DRAM cache. It'll be like, oh, look at that! I got this SSD for $20, but it has crappy firmware and it's terribly unoptimized, so you might as well just get a you might as well just get a cacherless SSD. It'll be the same thing.
The engineers didn't know what they were doing, so it's basically a spinner drive.
I don't. Who decided a cacherless SSD was a good idea? Who made that choice? They're like, yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Might as well have an SD card.
It's like actually, they can actually be slower than a mechanical hard drive. It's like, holy crap! Why? Why does this exist?
Something cool I learned about SSDs is, at least the SATA ones, I'm not sure about M.2, although I'm sure they work the same way because they all use flash storage.
Yeah, they all have a controller, a NAND flash, and a DRAM cache. At least they should. They just, the way they actually transfer their data is different.
Yeah, so the smaller capacity SSDs are actually slower because it's like single and quad channel RAM. The more actual, like, I guess, nodes you have of storage within the SSD, they can run simultaneously and provide better speeds. So like a 4 terabyte SSD would be better than a 500 gig. To some extent.
I've got a 1 terabyte Sabre and Rocket NVMe, which is like outside of Samsung, they're one of the better options.
Oh, your M.2 is a terabyte?
Yeah.
Nice, bro.
I've got a 1 terabyte Sabre and Rocket, and I've got a 120 gig Samsung 840 series SATA SSD. I've got pictures on it. That's it.
I might actually get another M.2. I have another slot for it. That would be pretty cool.
I think I have another one. I just don't need the storage. I have, let's see. I have like 7, no, I have 6 terabytes. I have 6.1 terabytes. I had 8, but the 2 terabyte mechanical drive died on me. And I think my 1 terabyte's having issues now. It's 7 years old.
Yeah, I would probably just fucking have a hybrid drive and then the rest SSDs for my ideal system.
Yeah, I think I'm probably gonna buy like a 1 or 2 terabyte hybrid drive to replace the 1 terabyte WD Blue.
Yeah, I wouldn't go above 2 terabytes just for reliability's sake.
I just don't need that much storage either. I don't need a billion, terabytes.
Unlike SSDs, the more disks a hard drive has, the less reliable it is. There's more shit to
Also, apparently, mechanical hard drives tend to have longer lifespans.
Yeah, I've heard that. I don't
Which
know
is
why.
odd. I would have expected the exact opposite because a mechanical drive has moving parts.
And mechanical drives are less durable for sure, but it makes sense that they last longer because CDs will like hold their information for like fucking millennia.
Yeah, I've heard. My dad was telling me about a company that was experimenting with storing stuff on crystals.
Ooh.
It wasn't specific with what the crystals are, but one crystal, which was like the size of my thumb, apparently had like a couple like Yoda bytes of storage.
Oh god.
But you cannot edit the data. You could put it on there, and then it could not come off or change.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense.
So basically, they need to figure out how to make it so that they can rewrite the data if need be. Like on a normal hard drive.
Probably gonna have to fucking make synthetic crystals.
Yeah.
Ones that are like have a different structure. It makes sense that crystals could be used for storage though, because they have like a really repeated and predictable pattern of their molecular structure.
And I think IBM, a couple years back, figured out how to store data on a single atom. Like, I think it was like a single carbon atom or something like that. I mean, it's not very effective, but I think they figured it out.
Weird.
There was an article I read about it. Like, of course, IBM figured that out. IBM always seems to be on, like, the cusp of, like, the latest, like, normal computing technology. I would say computing technology in general, but, like, right now that would be quantum computing. There's a Linus video where they visited, like, a quantum computer manufacturer, and, like, I forget what they're called, but, like, their only two customers are Google and NASA.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, the actual quantum processor is cooled to, like, temperatures colder than outer space. And it's, it's in this huge, big, fat enclosure, and it's totally inconvenient and also massively expensive. Like, it will be quite a long way. We're still quite a good long while until quantum computers become consumer grade.
Are we gonna have to like change the way we write software for quantum computing?
I would assume so,
It's not
because
binary.
of how quantum computers work. Yeah, they're not binary.
Like
They use
the
they use qubits.
Like the whole way our freaking technological ecosystem works for anything is binary. Everything's built
Yeah.
off of it.
I think my favorite way I saw quantum computers explained was, imagine a normal computer trying to figure out the exit to a maze. It does it one route at a time, and a quantum computer can just do them all at once.
Very cool.
Like, it's infinitely faster than even the fastest supercomputer we have.
Yeah, we tend to do our high-end computing with binary systems, just with sheer quantity, and with quantum computing, it
Yeah.
seems like we can do it more efficiently. Instead of getting higher core counts, clock speeds, everything, we can get smarter CPUs, maybe?
Also, quantum computers won't have to worry about Moore's Law, I don't think, because you don't have to worry about quantum tunneling as badly. Because, at a certain point with a normal computer, the freaking pathways that the particles run on becomes too small, and they quantum tunnel, and basically they just phase through what the little wires they're running on because the wires are too small.
Whoa.
And we aren't there yet, but it's fast approaching. And like eventually, normal computers will just be too small. I wonder what year we'll finally have a computer that has quantum tunneling issues, because no way we're just going to outright avoid it, because we don't know. I don't think we know the exact size. Or maybe we do. But I have a feeling there's going to be a computer that's on an extremely small, you know, process node that's going to have quantum tunneling issues. And then we're going to have to, like, regress a little bit. And then at that point, who knows how far quantum computers will have come. But, I won't be surprised to see that at some point in our lifetime, quantum computers become, like, the main type of consumer computer. Even if it's very, very late into our life cycle, into our lifetimes. Because we already have them, that quantum computers that are able to do stuff and pretty efficiently. And actually, the company that has sold a quantum computer to Google and NASA, they've been working on them for a long time now.
Once it becomes like a bigger focus, I bet it'll like totally take off like regular computing did. From like 1960 or 70 to now, we've made so many fucking leaps.
Yeah, because I think like technically the first actual computer came out in like 1945, I think. And it was at some university, and the parts it used are totally unrecognizable as a computer when it comes to modern day standards. Like, it uses like vacuum tubes and stuff, and it doesn't even have like a display.
Fucking computers didn't have displays until like the late 70s or 80s.
Yeah. Computers didn't even have mice until then either.
I don't think it was actually Steve Jobs that invented, you know, computing using a screen. Although that documentary made it seem like he did.
I don't have any idea about who would have done that. And I doubt it was Steve Jobs.
Well, I mean, we had like TVs before Steve Jobs was like even doing tech, or probably before he was born. And
yeah.
It's weird how no one thought to give computer screens until like the 70s.
Maybe computers just didn't even really have much of a reason to have screens until then.
Yeah,
because they were doing much more basic stuff. They were like word processors and fancy calculators is all they were. They didn't do anything that needed much of a display. They did like calculations. Like, I think the first computer ever was actually used for like bombardment calculations towards the end of World War II. So they didn't really need a display, they just needed to know what numbers it was coming up with.
They need a just
they can figure that out. Yeah, that's exactly what they did. It printed it out on a long roll of paper.
I gotta go fucking urinate. Oh my god. Why do I have the balls?
Well.
It would be pretty cool to have a standing desk. I would definitely use it right now.
That way all the pee can drain out of my balls more efficiently. Tape top. Poop top.
Why is it taking me so long to do this? Bro, I can beat this level without even trying? Why can I not do it without dying? And why can I not fucking do it without rhyming?
Bars. Straight bars. My favorite username of all time.
Gay bars.
Gay bars? That's a thing, though.
Oh,
Just,
dude, yeah, I didn't even think. I was thinking like prison bars, not like fucking brothels. But that's what a bar is.
As a Catholic would say.
Yeah.
Catholicism is genuinely like one of my least favorite things.
Yeah, it's
so freaking lame.
Any like freaking set of ideologies that's just closed-minded is my least favorite thing. There's a lot of them out there.
Catholicism is, here's all our ideologies, and it's all based on tradition. Oh boy!
Here, let me tell you why, Sonny. Look at here. Look at this book of traditions. See, it says do it, so we do it. And I said why though, not like who told you. I said why.
Yeah.
Oh,
what's the actual reason? Oh, don't worry about it.
Because we're easily manipulated. It's really dumb because like the people that use religions like that to manipulate people, they're not even around anymore. The people that invented that crap to, and I'm not saying like all religions are invented. I'm just saying like the stuff that is invented to control people, because clearly it exists. Whichever religion we're looking at, the people that invented that stuff are long gone, and they're not even benefiting from it anymore. But people are still falling for it.
Thanks, whoever created Catholicism. What the heck? I didn't know death was in this game.
You can't die in that game?
Thanatos? Thanatos? Thanos?
Tharnitos?
Oh.
I wouldn't be surprised if Thanos' name came from like a Greek god. Or a demigod or a story or something.
This god of death or whatever he is named Thanatos.
That would be interesting if that's where it came from.
It's very similar, I wouldn't be surprised. He just did 9,999 damage to that one guy. That sucks. That guy just got turned into liquid dust. Okay, that one's just not dying. He's outside the map and I cannot hurt him. Cool. Well, right now I'm a more efficient killer than death. Yay! Ooh, that's a big thing.
Alright, now I just gotta do this shit without dying. And there we go. Nice.
Thanks, Bokamba.
1B golden. Now I have all of the... I have A, B, and C golden for Forsaken City. Nice. I technically have Forsaken City A-side golden in 2 different ways. I got the golden strawberry for doing it without dashing, and I got the golden strawberry for doing it without dying. Yep. Yeah, I've 100%ed Forsaken City now. All the strawberries, all the hearts. Nice.
Forsaken City, more like Forsaken owned. Yeah.
That is so dumb. I've done the A side, B side, and C side for all of the levels, and none of them even come close, besides Forsaken City, which doesn't count because that's just from running it. None of them even come close to Farewell's death count for me. That is
Freaking
God.
1800.
The closest one is the
Double.
1100, and that's second place, and first place is 1800 at Farewell.
Mizu's an idiot. He just broke the own pillar near him, and it caused the roof to collapse on him and do damage. What a fool.
I'm gonna start Farewell over and just show you what it's like from the beginning.
Oh man. I wish I didn't pause it right when I did. Here we go. Oh! This guy is tough.
I'm going to heaven.
Duh.
Look at me, bro. Going to heaven. Literally going to heaven.
I'm going to this game's equivalent of hell, basically.
Oh yeah, alright, here we go. Got the golden strawberry for Farewell. Let's do it. No deaths.
You winning?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. No deaths. You ready?
1800 deaths. That just sounds like torture.
Well,
I don't think it's even possible for me to beat Farewell. Like, it would take me 1 quadrillion deaths.
yeah, man. I barely beat it, and I didn't really struggle with any levels, really. The closest thing to a struggle I had was freaking Core Seaside. That's nothing compared to Farewell, bro. Like, it's actually, they made it the hardest thing in this game.
So imagine Core B-side. Not Core, Farewell B-side.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about that.
Then they do C-side.
I might consider a Farewell Seaside, because the Seasides are all 3 screens. Farewell is like 250,000 screens. Like, it's probably like 200 or something screens.
That's a lot. That is so many.
I wonder if there's like a count for it. Because all the C-sides are 3 screens each. The B-sides are like 10 or something. They're more. And the A-sides they vary wildly in length. Celeste, Farewell, number of screens.
Uh-oh.
I wonder if anyone's counting.
Oh lord, he's coming.
Chapter 9, final screen is bad. Yes. It's not hard, it's not impossible, it's just badly designed. Cost of small mistake is too big. 90 seconds of the most boring ass level in the entire game. It's dramatic and all, but it's just too much of a time waster without any way to skip boring sections with tech or something. And then if you want to get the moonberry and do make mistake on the actual good part, climbing up after turning off electricity, you have to do the worst part of the whole 25 level game again.
God.
Yeah, I agree with that. The bad thing about the last screen to Farewell, which is the one I was stuck on every time you saw me playing it, the one where you jump up and grab the freaking squid and float, it is so long, bro. It's like 2 minutes long if you do it really fast.
Jesus Christ, for 1 screen.
And if you die at the very end, at the last challenge, which I did like twice, you go to the beginning. So it makes it it makes it very impossible to learn those later sections. Like, you have to grind out the first half of the screen, like, through absolute misery getting that down. And then you have to go past that every time you want to attempt the second half, which is hard. So it just delays your ability to get better. And that sucks, because for the most part, all the other levels, even the ones that have a long screen in them somewhere, the amount of time between you dying and you trying again is very short. But for that last screen to Farewell, it's like a minute or more if you die.
God.
So it's not even that it's super hard, it's just that it doesn't give you a good chance to learn.
It's like, here you go, idiot, hope you win. Just kidding, I hope you die.
Out of every, There was that one screen where Jared said it was like the hardest one in the game. No, the last screen of Farewell.
Wrong.
I mean, as far as
It's not even out of difficulty, it's just because the only save is at the beginning of the level.
it's just because they don't give you an opportunity to learn fast. Like it delays when you get to practice, which is just a cheap way to make it hard. And that's something Celeste does really well. It doesn't use cheap tactics of being hard, and it just decided to on that last screen for some reason.
It's like they ran out of ideas or something.
I don't know. The story is alright. I don't really care for the story in this game, but I appreciated being here and being a good, not cringy story. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It explores like mental wellness. It's pretty cool. But the story did not make up for that chapter being shit.
Thanks, Obama.
I feel like if I talked to someone who was like really good at Celeste, they would tell me I didn't like Farewell because I wasn't good at it, and they're probably right. But as someone who's got like 60 hours in the game and has done every bit of content, even the super bonus content besides Farewell, I feel like I should be able to play it a little bit more, easily than that. And maybe that's what
Should be able to do it in maybe a little less than 1,800 deaths.
Maybe they were going for that. Maybe they were like, okay, people playing Farewell, they're gonna be playing this because they've done everything else. They've done all the A, B, C sides. They've messed around with the D sides and the mods. They're pretty good at the mechanics. They know everything already. So let's give them a real challenge. But like, there's
It's not even a good challenge.
The first half of Farewell, you can play it without getting any hearts, and the last half you have to have like 15 hearts, I think, which is just all of the normal levels, and then 7 of the 8 B sides. So you wouldn't even have to go to the C sides and practice on those to play Farewell all the way through. So there's probably people that played some of the B sides, none of the C sides, and then played Farewell and then sucked at it, and they're like, dang, I feel like shit right now. I thought I was good at this game because I did the B sides. But they not. Damn it.
What the heck? Whoa.
What?
Cam Newton's younger brother is transferring to Auburn, bruh.
Yo.
He's not good, but that's interesting. Because I think he was originally playing for a much smaller college. How's he going to Auburn all of a sudden? He's a quarterback too, just like Cam Newton. Huh. That's interesting. It's like, wait, what if he is better than Cam Newton and then all of a sudden Auburn wins another championship? Oh.
I hope I'm not alone in feeling mixed feelings about this chapter because I really like the game.
Yeah, there's probably some people out there who are like, this is kind of bad.
I would like to talk to someone about it that like, absolutely loves Farewell and see why it's like what they think is good about it. Because like I was pretty miserable through a lot of it.
It's just like, God, this is just unnecessary. God, why?
Yeah, the one screen Jared said was like supposed to be the hardest one. That was actually a fun, interesting screen that I was capable of doing just with a little bit of trial and error and practice, and it was satisfying to complete it. I could not say the same about a lot of the levels or the screens in this. They were just painful. It seems like for the sake of being painful too, not like to teach me anything about how the game works.
It's just, well, we're making this extra hard for no reason other than because.
Damn it. Oh, I'm gonna go through and see if I can make it to some of the points where I was having a lot of trouble and examine those screens further. Oh, this screen right here. Freaking TGH, one of like the top runners who does all like the freaking AGDQ stuff. Cool guy. He made it to this being like the whole cool runner he is and doing everything super fast, and he did it backwards, and he was trying to make it work backwards, like this, and he almost got it to work, but then it took him like 7 or 8 minutes to realize you go this way and come down here. Like I saw that on Twitter before I ever even played.
Why are those platforms even over there? What do you do with those?
That's how you get back up to the top. If I can actually make this work, you'll see. Oh shit.
Oh, I see. That's...
Oh, I know what I got to. I have to go.
That... Wow.
I gotta go past it. There we go. This is how you do it. The only reason I knew how to do that is because I saw him fuck it up. I was like, okay, guess I won't do what the top streamer in the game did. I mean, if you're that good at the game mechanics to the point where you're streaming it and getting world records, I feel like if you don't know what to do, it might be a design flaw.
Yeah.
If a top player can't figure it out, maybe it's a little too non-straightforward.
Complicated. A little too vague. A little too non-intuitive.
There are some games that are incredibly hard and the developers aren't good at them, but Celeste is definitely not one of those. Like, the lead designer and like the programmer are both like incredibly talented at playing platformers. Which is probably why it's like the hardest, most precise platformer of all time.
Oh god, I just fought the Minotaur. Whee!
Usually I stay away from games with like an art style like that, just because I don't think they're too pretty.
I've got to say, out of all the roguelites I've been playing recently, I've really liked this one quite a lot.
Yeah, but like art style, gameplay, and just enjoyability.
Yeah, originally when I saw Hades, I was like, anime art style video game, no thank you. And then I pirated it out of boredom, and then I ended up buying it. It's like, yeah, I'll support the devs on this one. This is a good game. It's worth it. Ouch! Oh, I thought I was behind that pillar.
Usually games centered around combat that have 2D art like that, I just don't like how they look. Like Brawlhalla, it's fun, but it kind of looks ugly. And the freaking those Toho games that Matthew loves so much, a lot of them have like 2D hand-drawn art, and it's just not a very appealing art style to me. And
yeah, I still don't even know what Toho is.
Yeah.
I know that Matthew talked about it, and I was like, what? I don't care.
Art is like a very important thing to me in games. I almost feel like I choose my favorites based on like how good they look and how like artistically based they are. Because Breath of the Wild is one of my favorites, Celeste is one of my favorites, Land of the Woods is one of my favorites, and they're all really good looking games. Oh yeah, and here's where they introduce my least favorite mechanic.
No, what the?
The fucking, the fucking paraglider made out of squid.
The squid glider?
Oof.
I have 7 health. Am I gonna win? No, I am not.
Dumbass, you should've fucking won.
Look at that attack! That is so dumb! Oh.
So this is just...
Punch that dude.
I understand this is like teaching you how the glider works, but it's really boring and slow. Like there's nothing to this. There's a lot of like pad sections to this chapter. They're not doing anything really interesting. It just takes forever, and if you die, you have to go all the way back and do the whole thing again.
Oh boy.
Oh god, this screen takes forever. I wish there was a skip for this. Like there was a mirror temple.
Beat this guy up. I just tried to do so much damage to that guy, and I hit his shield a bunch, and I did like the smallest sliver of damage ever. I just did like all of my attacks, and he's like, stupid idiot. That's my shield.
Oh shit, bro. I'm at 19.
Oh, I have 10 health.
deaths.
I have 10 health and I've already used up my... Okay, I died. Whee! I cannot beat this boss fight. There's 2 of them, and the stupid Minotaur, you have to... When he charges, if you can't get him to run into a wall, he hits you. The Minotaur is so tanky. You can just beat up on him for like 200 years and he will lose like 1 health. Oh, that fight. That's the farthest I've made it into that fight, but god dang. That's a tough one.
I'm gonna play this until I get to 2,000 deaths. Might as well.
Just... boom.
Alright, there's another one.
Booty.
This section's actually pretty good. I enjoyed this section a good bit. What did Caleb just message me?
It's always a fun time when you get a message from Caleb.
He's responding to a message I sent him 4 hours ago. Just how Caleb be. Just what Caleb be doing.
It's like he doesn't even have any reason to like not reply at least decently, normally, quickly. He doesn't do anything. He's not asleep. He just, I'll just reply in 4 hours.
Oh shit. I think that was... Will it tell me how many deaths I had? Time to turn the map to see if I'm right. Bro, why does he care so much? Yes. I'm gonna try and change the subject. So he talks about something besides the shit I was talking about 3 hours ago. Alright. 1914. I thought I was on behind. Let's do this one. This one was pretty fun, I think. Oh yeah, it's the cycling platforms. Dude.
Ooh. J. Cole. Yeah, lyricist.
Oh shit. Dang it. I think that was... Dang it. Alright, I'll work on that later. I wanted to be at 2,000 and then I'm never playing Farewell again. I'm gonna turn on GhostNet. See who's playing. Oh, I didn't actually connect. Cool. I like how it just does that sometimes. Well, time to industry. Actually, I'll show you how to save it.
Arg, I'm a pirate.
How to make a stream save on YouTube.
Pirate.
Oh, okay. So they automatically archive it, and I guess I just